reach the top somehow.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family. When you hear that theme song, you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk, and time for me to say greetings to the entire world, because we are, as usual, on the World Wide Web, and we reach and communicate with you all over the globe. But we must say a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and we welcome all, and we extend greetings as well to the entire Caribbean region. And in the process, we thank those who continue to share the link, because when we do, or when you do, we have first-timers. And for the first-timers, I say welcome to this edition of Straight Talk. And we trust and hope it would not be your last time. But just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's ensure that we speak the truth. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and, of course, to their obligations. We try as well to raise the level of international, regional, and national, regional, and international consciousness, I should say, as we, yes, alert our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. And my Straight Talk family, my name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I will always hasten to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I'm always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine, an excerpt from a favorite hymn of mine, which goes something like this: we are all called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, and bringing all those evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling, to fulfill that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, and especially the first timers, let me assure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We never tried to make it more interesting, neither by omission or by exaggeration, because Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. We are not about creating excitement, especially if that comes at the expense of accuracy. Because we lean on the facts, and you may be happy to know that it is my bounden duty to present what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, integrity, and all that goes with that. My Straight Talk family, wherever you are in St. Kitts and Nevis, and or wherever you are around the globe. And we want to thank Almighty God for helping us to understand, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we'll all sing his praise together. And we are a different people, I must also interject. And we will have different views. Some we will agree, and some we will disagree. But that's okay, because we entertain what I call a diversity of views. But please do not sadden me and ever become disagreeable. So welcome again, my people. And there are those who share the link. As I said, we thank you. Please continue to do so. And I must always remind you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and we include your emails. And those who are minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. The email address is on your screen for those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. We give you access via our email platform as well. And I know many of us are afraid to speak our minds. So many of us are afraid to call. And we have to get over that, because we are in charge, the people. The people must at all times run things. We say hello to those who have access to Alexa as well. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. My brother Massive gives us access at a nominal cost, and be thankful for that. And yes, my Straight Talk family, those who make contributions, please continue to do so, because it's a public service. And others who wish to make donations can simply scan the code on your screens, and that will give you access to a payment form. A very simple process. So thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. I must as well say a special welcome to my junior brigade. Kevin had a birthday last week, I think it was. Trust you enjoyed it. Young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shama, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon. And I can't ever forget my grandson Neymar. I would be in trouble, believe it or not. And his friend Soraya too. They even wake up to hear their names, even though they fall asleep sometimes on the program. How is Elizabeth and that special lady in St. Louis as well? We normally have our observations and review. When we highlight current issues, we do some reflection as well. We ask a few questions. What was accomplished? How it helped others? What has changed since? What is expected next? And of maximum importance, what new we learned as a people? And after our observation in review, we will move straight to our thesis for tonight, which I've titled, We Got a Square Peg in a Round Hole. Square peg, big square peg in a round hole. And my first observation, my Straight Talk family, as Straight Talk captured the arrival of Grenada's Prime Minister Deacon Michel at Argyle International Airport in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It was really a lovely sight to see our leaders getting together.
Good afternoon,
Dr. Friday
Vincent and the
just came the most recent.
International Airport.
Well,
as we
he is
Prime
the most.
Minister of Grenada,
He got elected
PM
just a few weeks ago
Mitchell,
in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and
Minister
ended
of
that
Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Fitz
like
Bramble. Right next to him is
25-year-old
the Minister
reign
of Sports, the Honourable Keisha Shallow.
Ralph Gonzalez come with Ralph. Well, it's good to see
Grenadines. Right
Michel
next to him is Prime Minister Dr.
reached out to his
Godwin Friday.
CARICOM brother.
We see the Grenadian Prime Minister
Godwin Friday, Dr. Godwin Friday,
and
it speaks well
is a courtesy
for
visit, and it is expected that
unity
the two heads of
within
state
CARICOM,
will discuss several issues
and in
of
particular
concern
within the
between
OECS.
Grenada and St. Vincent and the
there have been
Grenadines.
some
Join us as we
recent
continue
fractures
to give you live coverage of this
within
very
our community. So Michel paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Friday to discuss several matters of importance. And if I recall, both countries share the Grenadine Islands, Grenada to the south and St. Vincent to the north, that should be. And our second observation tonight, I broached the geopolitical issue of geopolitical significance of Greenland in the Arctic. And many of us may have heard the ramblings between Denmark in Europe and President Trump. Because as climate change melts Arctic ice, those of us who understand the globe way up north in the Arctic, as the Arctic ice melts, new sea routes, that is, like the Northwest Passage, just may become more navigable in future decades and shortening the shipping movements between Asia, Europe, and North America. So Donald Trump is really thinking way ahead. Because Greenland's position means it will likely be central to managing and influencing these maritime routes to get to Asia, Europe, to and from Asia, Europe, and North America. Because Greenland sits at a geopolitical crossroad where the U.S. interests intersect with those of Russia, China, and their European allies. So control or strong influence there in Greenland would help the United States of America maintain a foothold in northern high latitudes way up in the north, increasingly being contested by the great powers, Russia and China in particular. So Greenland, my Straight Talk family, when you hear this discussion, don't you ever think that Donald Trump is crazy. Just say that Greenland is there for very important to the United States of America's and the world's missile defense, as outlined by Vice President J.D. Vance in this brief comment to the media.
First of all, Secretary Rubio, I believe, is meeting with the leaders of Denmark and Greenland next week. I want to say it is, but maybe it's the week after that. We'll continue to deliver some of these messages in private, some of them in public. But I guess my advice to European leaders and anybody else would be to take the President of the United States seriously. What has he said about Greenland? Set to the side the crazy overreactions that I've seen from the press and from certain people in Europe. What has the President said? Number one, Greenland is really important, not just to America's missile defense, but to the world's missile defense. Number two, we know that there are hostile adversaries that have shown a lot of interest in that particular territory, that particular slice of the world. So what we're asking our European friends to do is to take the security of that landmass more seriously, because if they're not, the United States is going to have to do something about it.
So, take that warning. Take the disposition of Greenland seriously, else the United States would have to do something about it. Because America's and the world's missile defense is important. And their adversaries, China, Russia, are having a close look at that particular area. And those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I will move right into my thesis for tonight, which I've titled, as mentioned earlier, "We Got a Square Peg in a Round Hole." And I have always heard that you can never put a truck driver in the cockpit to fly a plane. Have you ever thought about that? You can't put a truck driver to fly a plane. So too, you cannot expect, you can never expect a third form student to run a country. And each time we listen to Terence Michael Drew, he makes one feel as if a little boy is running St. Kitts and Nevis, or maybe we found the perfect misfit for the job of Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Even his college mate or schoolmate, Dr. Garfield Alexander, seemed to have come to that conclusion. If you examine his comments about the Prime Minister's last round table with his hand-picked palace guards, and Dr. Garfield said this.
And yeah, you all know that fella that was on the television and radio today calling himself the Prime Minister? Y'all don't see he had no information for us? Y'all ain't see the bomb he dropped on this nation here? After two other Prime Ministers have done the same? Just drop it on us? No explanation? When has he ever had an explanation? Christoph Harbour, all those things he's talking about, all those are half informations. We still don't know about his school. We still don't know about the homes. More questions than answers. And our Prime Minister was on the radio today for the first time, radio and TV, for the first time for the year. And then go and talk to us about the budget, which he already spoke to us long-windedly. I like that. Me like that.
No, we can't like that. And we should not expect anything different from his cabinet colleague, Jeffrey Hanley, as he publicly confessed to being a slow student. First of all, Drew continues to drive the state-owned vehicle, the state car, while looking in the rearview mirror. He's always talking about 7 years ago. 7 years ago this, 7 years ago that, my Straight Talk family. So all he provides and lies and lamentations about 7 years ago. We saw his silly Facebook post, which I won't give credence to. But no credible plan for the future he has. Yet he expects us to believe that St. Kitts Nevis is on the road to becoming the first sustainable island state. And every time Prime Minister Drew makes an appearance before the nation, he paints that image of a big square peg in a small round hole. I say so because he always comes across as a leader who is fundamentally confused with the context in which he speaks, or mismatched with the roles he occupies. And this not only implies not only incompatibility, but strain, because this big round peg will never fit without forcing the hole to deform, or without deforming the hole. And even then, the result will be unstable. In the context of his leadership, over the past 3 going on to 4 years, it points to someone or a figure whose size, whose ego, methods or vision overwhelm the system meant to confer or to contain them. Instead of adapting to institutional norms, constraints, or collective needs, our leader pressures the system or structure to bend around him, it seems. And he often creates so much damage in the process. And the problem is not merely inefficiency, it is distortion. What should function smoothly becomes stress and deformed. At a deeper level, there is so much inflexibility because a round peg cannot become square, and a square hole cannot easily become round. So effective leadership, my Straight Dog family, usually requires some give on both sides. The leader adapting to circumstances and institutions evolving thoughtfully. And when neither happens, the result is friction, wasted energy, and eventual failure. And this is exactly what we have to deal with. A leader who does not belong where he is, as his presence is more destructive than constructive. From the moment Terence Michael Drew assumed the role of Prime Minister, the administration he put together, which he referred to as a team of experts, all displayed a type of governance which was grounded in institutional ignorance or deliberate neglect. Take, for example, the principle of continuous government, which they ignored. Continuous government exists to ensure stability, institutional memory, and policy coherence beyond electoral cycles or individual office holders. So when an administration ignores or fails to understand this concept of continuous government, it effectively treats governance as episodic rather than cumulative. His administration saw itself as starting from a blank slate and discarded past policies, some of them discarded data, institutional experience, and even shovel-ready projects. A diminished level of performance from such an administration was therefore expected, not necessarily due to lack of effort, but because of structural self-sabotage. Policies were abandoned for symbolic reasons. Expertise was disregarded as partisan residue, and long-term projects were stalled or reversed to signal rupture with its predecessors' team unity. The result, my straight dog family, sadly, was a cycle of reinvention that prioritizes political theater over administrative effectiveness. Two perfect examples are the Bastia High School and the 16 or 35 megawatt solar farm. The slow student Jeffrey Hanley announced the start of the Bastia High School. No name local contractor, but there's a local contractor without a name. And construction, he predicted to last 18 months. My Sherdog family, we must remember this.
For the past 2 years, extensive work would have been going on involving our local architects and other engineers and experts, and it is even more heartwarming to know that the contractor is a Kittishon, and this of course will generate quite a lot of revenue and also boost the economy, as many persons will be employed here at the Bastia High School, which is expected to be an 18-month initiative.
Imagine that. We are the contractors, we are the jobs. What's happening to the Bastia High School? My Sherdog family, 18 months? But months thereafter, former Deputy Prime Minister exposed the corruption involving $27 million in relation to the construction of the Bastia High School.
And the last one that I want to come to, Madam Speaker, is the Bastia High School. I heard construction has started, and so I went up there to see the construction. Not even a hot seat up there for the workers to use. This is what I saw. But Madam Speaker, I've saved this one for last, because I have some questions to ask about that, Madam Speaker. If construction has started on the Bastia High School, who is the contractor which has been awarded this particular construction project? Who is the contractor? Member for number one was quite vocal a few minutes ago. Who is the contractor? Is it a company by the name of Pre-Conco, saying it's limited? Is it a company by the name of Pre-Conco Limited? The member for number 8 said nobody must speak about Bastia High School. And he said some 20-something million dollars had been spent. $21 million had been spent and nothing there to show for it. Has Pre-Conco been given $10 million US to date in respect of mobilization fees for Bastia High School? Has Pre-Conco been given $10 million US to date in respect of mobilization fees for the construction of Bastia High School? Member for number one, gone quiet. Has Pre-Conco been given a contract for $100,350,000 to build the Bastia High School? $271 million to build the Bastia High School? When you look at the budget at the volume 2, Madam Speaker, volume 2 in respect of Bastia High School says the estimated total cost is $35 million. $35 million. Has Pre-Conco been given a contract for $271 million to build Bastia High School? Why is the budget address saying $35 million if a contract has been given for $271 million to build the Bastia High School? Nobody must talk about Bastia High School. Well, I'm talking about it. And I dare anybody in here to tell me something differently. Tell me that 10 million US dollars today, 27 million EC dollars, have not been given to Preconco in respect of the Bastia High School. Tell me if Preconco hasn't been given a contract for $100 million, 350,000 to build the Bastia High School, $271 million to build a school. $271 million. Member for number one, Grand Quiet Minister of Education.
And my Street Dog family, you could have heard a pin drop in the parliament. Not one word came from the slow student Jeffrey Handy. Not one word. And imagine the Bastia High School on the team unity was estimated to cost for the school itself $70 million. When you add the track, the all-weather track, an indoor stadium and so on, it came to just over $100 million. And that has catapulted to $271 million. My Street Dog family. And not one word in objection, no point of order, nothing came from the slow student, Jeffrey Hanley, who is the Minister of Education. But the following day, like a lost lamb, our lying, corrupt Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew complicated the issue with this silly explanation, my Street Dog family. A silly explanation that complicated the issue.
Bastia High School is a CBI project. That is why I said the CBI projects will be used to give us what is essential. And under the CBI relationship, that is how it is set up. When we took over, we said we're going to use our CBI to build the school. The CBI has its own arrangement built in. And he knows that. And that is what is building up the Bastia High School at this particular time. And within the CBI, they have their own mechanism of choosing who will build and support, especially as it's a statutory body now, which even give it more independence. And so this thing about it trying to cloud it in procurement as if something untoward was done is not so. And so the program with the school has a built-in mechanism that if the CBI inflows drop at any point, there will be a support coming from the government to keep it going. But that the government has to reclaim all its money. Because there's nothing to hide.
There are lots of things to hide, my Street Dog family. Because statutory bodies are bound by the procurement legislation. They all are bound by the procurement legislation because they are public bodies, my Street Dog family, dealing with public money. What nonsense is Jew telling us in this country? And yes, there were many things untoward, and we'll hear much more about that. But there's another one, my Street Dog family, the Cranche Solar Farm Project, which was unceremoniously ended by the Soca Engineer Congress. Even all the expert reviews concluded it was a good project. The advisor to the Prime Minister said so without any hesitation.
I want to announce that the housing program in earnest is going to kick off fully in August, in just a few weeks. East Coast has set up its office where Sugars is on the Frigate Bay Road, regardless of all these negative things and these fake. I want to announce that the housing program in earnest.
Forgive me for that, my Street Dog family. That was not what I should have queued up. I was talking about solar. We haven't got to that as yet. the advisor to the Prime Minister did in fact inform us that it was a project, a good project he called it, a good project that was reviewed by all the experts. All the experts reviewed the solar farm project, the Clancha solar farm project, and found it to be a good one. A very good project, to be exact, my Stray Dog family. And that's exactly what I was trying to cue here for you. I'll find it. You know, to err is human. But it was a good project. And Edinburgh didn't, in fact, was not afraid to say so. He said that without fear of contradiction, my Stray Dog family. This is exactly what he said. And I'll cue that for you right now. And forgive me for that little mishap, little misdirection that I gave you just now. But this is exactly what he said about that project, my Stray Dog family.
It is a good project based on our own studies, calling in the expertise from right in the Caribbean to assess. It's a good project. Mm-hmm. They feel that it was properly assessed and the costing was within the range of what it would cost anyway to do that.
And yes, that's what he said. But belatedly, my Stray Dog family, belatedly, Terence Michael Drew comes again and always insults the intelligence of our people and tries to fool the country with this nonsense, my Stray Dog family.
With respect to energy diversification, I want to say that we have done the complete analysis for a very large solar plant, which will be 50 megawatts. The RFP will be sent out very, very soon, and we expect to start construction of a 50 megawatt solar plant this year, partly at the Bastia Valley Aquifer. We used a company called Castalia, which has a good reputation, and a company that has been in this space for some time. And so all the analysis and evaluation has been done, and that is expected not only to give us cheaper energy, but to help to transition the economy, because renewable energy for us is much cheaper than fossil fuel, which we are subsidizing heavily to keep the cost of living down here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
My Stray Dog family, I put it to Terence Michael Drew that this construction cannot start this year. How could construction start this year? Do not be fooled, my people. An RFP is a formal document commonly used in government for public sector procurement and large private organizations to ensure transparency, comparability, and value for money. Total duration for this public tender will be at least 6 months, after which the project must be designed. And we are somewhat confused because it seems as though he has already selected this U.S. company Castalia that does solar engineering. But we look and we'll see. Mark my word. Castalia is a company already selected, it seems, but he's talking about RFPs, requests for proposals. And 6 months, if they are going to tender publicly, an EPC, an engineering, procurement, and commissioning, this will last another 5 to 6 months, which takes us into 2027. So is he trying to bribe us here with these projects, these pie in the sky projects, because elections are coming. Mark, be aware, my Sri Lanka family. Elections are coming. Elections are around the corner. But the liar prime minister told us that the American company Castalia was selected. But my Sri Lanka family, by severing continuity, they have incurred higher costs, slow implementation, and greater policy volatility. Citizens experience this as inconsistency, uncertainty, and declining trust in public institutions. Effective governance requires acknowledging that while political leadership changes, the state itself must endure, learning from the past, refining its methods, and advancing incrementally toward collective goals. That is why for over 2 years, all these projects were supposedly underway, and we were expected to run out of workers. My Sri Lanka family, remember this?
So capital project, I will say, let me go through them for you, if you don't mind. Smart homes, on their way. Right? On the way. The hospital, on the way as well. The school, on the way as well. The solar plant or solar farm, on the way as well. There are some others I will mention, not yet, but they are definitely coming on the way. We have about 2 other major investments. One will be an agriculture major investment that will also come. We have an investment for the port, airport, that is advancing significantly as well. I'm saying that when, in the next few months, I'm almost certain that we'll run out of construction workers here.
Just talk, my Sri Lanka family. It's almost 4 years, and nothing has been done by this incompetent Jew administration. In essence, it shows that ignoring continuous government. Yes, we've heard that government is continuous. But they have ignored that. And ignoring continuous government is not an act of strength or reform. It is a concession to fragility. Fragility. That fragility was exposed with the East Coast Housing Development Project that should have provided hundreds of jobs and homes, my Sri Lanka family. You remember that kickoff by Prime Minister Joe?
This is going to kick off fully in August, in just a few weeks. East Coast has set up its office where Sugars is on the Frigate Bay Road, regardless of all these negative things and these fake news or misinformation rather that's going around the country. And that is going to be providing a lot of jobs for our people, as well as the homes for our people as well, in large numbers.
Pie in the sky, my Sri Lanka family. And after only constructing 2 model homes, the contract for 2,400 homes is ended. And the investor Brian Singh of East Coast Housing Development has cried fraud. Fraud. That's the word he used. A fraudulent government.
Well, we didn't know that the documents were fraudulent until August this year. When we made a request to the AG, when he did termination letter, and we made a request to him in writing for copies of documentation, he in writing returned and said he's not providing any. And through Mr. Gums, we decided to, on our own, try to get copies of the documents, which we got. And then we realized the documents were fraudulent. Hence the reason why we decided to go towards the claim.
Fraudulent is a strong word.
Very strong and very correct and very factual. We have documentary evidence.
Fraudulent. And I can confess to that, attest to that, I should say. Fraudulent. They all are. But what about our CBI, beg your pardon, let's straight talk about it. What about our CBI? After over 40 years, 4 decades, over 4 decades in existence, it is still fraught with allegations of corruption, weak due diligence, and exposure to illicit financial flows that are dismissed or downplayed when they are politically inconvenient. It is within this harsh global reality that the debate over citizenship by investment, CBI, must be understood. Some continue to proclaim its longevity, insisting that CBI is alive and well. Yet the evidence increasingly suggests otherwise. CBI, as it has traditionally operated, is no longer fit for the geopolitical, legal, and security landscape that now governs international relations. Imagine a leader who chooses a bucket with holes, which to him is better than a bucket without a bottom. Drew prefers a bucket with holes, my straight talk family.
So here we have a decrease in revenue, yes, but we still have a program. What if we had lost the period outright? Then we'll have nothing. And then the bottom would really have dropped out. Instead of having some challenges, we would have had a bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
Imagine that, my straight talk family. Ask yourselves, a bucket with holes and a bucket without a bottom, won't they produce the same result? Nothing will be retained in the bucket. You throw water, it leaks out the holes. Without a bottom, it goes straight to the ground. So both will fail to hold water. A bucket without a bottom and a bucket with holes will fail to hold water. So the conclusion is unavoidable. Regardless of intent or appearance, anything that cannot perform its basic function must be replaced. In practical terms, my straight talk family, results matter more than excuses. If the outcome is failure, the justification becomes irrelevant. The Terence Michael Jew administration has failed the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We can't take another year. On top of all of the above, all the failures, the Terence Michael July administration has signed, he has just told us belatedly, an MOU with the US to accept refugees from a third country, my straight dog family.
That St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, was approached by the United States of America as the other CARICOM countries, and we took a very proactive approach in sitting with the Americans to reach an arrangement that I think that arrangement is in keeping with our principles and, of course, having the collaboration with the United States of America as well. I know we are intelligent people. I know we have been looking very closely, and I know our people understand that the geopolitical environment at this time is not what we have been accustomed to. We know that there have been shifts, and so being proactive is very important, and I want to thank our people, of course, who have been involved in this. So St. Kitts and Nevis has negotiated and entered into a memorandum of understanding with the United States of America for the potential transfer of certain third country nationals. And I want us to listen carefully, who are citizens or nationals of the Caribbean community. This does not involve anybody outside of CARICOM.
My Straight Dog family, we're going to take that with a grain of salt. Because Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, said this just a few days ago. My Straight Dog family.
I would have shared brief information on my radio program last Saturday to indicate that Antigua and Barbuda will participate in a program with the United States, one in which they have invited over 100 nations to assist the United States in carrying some of the burden in refugees, because what has happened, the United States has been called upon over the decades to accommodate a disproportionate amount of refugees. We have said to them that we will take a limited amount, up to a maximum of 10, provided that they have no criminal background and on the basis that they have skills.
So Gaston Brown revealed that Antigua and Barbuda will take a maximum of 10, up to a maximum of 10, provided that they have certain skills that are required. How many have Terence Michael Drew agreed to? He said only CARICOM nationals. But like I said, we take it with a grain of salt. Because under international law, states are generally not allowed to refuse the return of their own citizens. A country has a legal obligation to admit its nationals. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, Article 12, subsection 4, states, and I quote, "No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of the right to enter his own country." And I know, while the legal rule is clear, in reality, enforcement is not as easily done as said, because there's no global police force. So compliance most times depends on diplomacy, the courts, and political pressure. Any country that accepts refugees from a third party without the knowledge or consent of its people violates the most basic principles of democratic governance. Such decisions carry profound social, economic, and security implications, and therefore demand transparency. It demands parliamentary oversight and public accountability. So I agree wholeheartedly with Milo Box Freeman, who made this commentary.
We are only accepting CARICOM deportees. So Trinidad can't accept their own deportees. Jamaica can't accept their own deportees. Barbados can't accept their own deportees. St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent cannot accept their own deportees. Why do we have to accept other country deportees? Where are we going to put them? Are we going to full back up? Listen, where are we going to put them when they come? Are we building houses for these deportees? Or are we going to once again? Because that was a big thing with me and I spoke out about it. And people say at the time I spoke out about it when Unity was in power, that I was making the government look kind of bad. I said I ain't making nobody look no kind of damn well bad. I got people up there in the community center. So if I have to make a government look bad to protect the community center, that village people need to go and have their little functions, but they couldn't do that because we're filled with Haitians. Can we, as citizens of this country, get a copy of that MOU with the US so that we could at least know what all we agreed upon and not be spoon-fed? That we should be the undeserving but grateful recipient of little information.
And Straight Talk supports you, Milo Box Freeman, 1,000%. Don't spoon feed us with no lies. We need to have access to the content of that memorandum of understanding with the United States of America. Because when the government acts unilaterally through secret memoranda or undisclosed agreements, it undermines trust and signals contempt for the citizens it is meant to serve. And we must not accept that standard or disrespect from our leaders. This is not merely poor judgment, it is a failure of duty. In any democracy, leaders who govern in secrecy on matters of national import, of national consequence, forfeit their legitimacy. Governments that exclude the people from decisions deserve to be removed, because power exercised without consent is power abused. A square peg forced into a round hole does not reshape the hole, it splinters it. It splinters the hole. And that is the reality confronting St. Kitts and Nevis today. Governance without transparency, agreements signed without public or parliamentary consent, and decisions made without clear explanations or clear plans for their consequences are not minor errors. They are fundamental breaches of trust. A government that treats the people as an afterthought forfeits its moral authority to lead. And this due administration has demonstrated. It has shown time and time again that it is ill-suited to the responsibilities it holds. Misaligned with the nation's needs, it is deaf to legitimate questions and careless with the social fabric it is meant to protect. Change, therefore, is not an act of hostility, but it is one of necessity. Democracies endure only when citizens insist on accountability, competence, and respect for process. At the next election, which we are hoping is just around the corner, the choice must be clear. Remove what does not fit and choose leadership that is shaped by the will of the people and not imposed upon the people. The country deserves leaders who belong in office or in the office they occupy. Leaders who fit the whole because they were formed by it and not forced into it. Something must be done, my people, because we got a square peg in a round hole. And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and include your emails. But I always like to implore you, my Straight Talk family, when I do so, and I will do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. And let us ensure that we build goodwill and better friendships. And let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us, my Straight Talk family, strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. It's 2 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. We take this and make this our first call for the night. Caller, you are live. Welcome.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my dear.
Our collection of motivational cartoons features characters
Features characters
who are always full of big ideas
always full of big ideas
and grand plans,
grand plans,
but fail to take any action.
fail to take any action.
I repeat, our collection of motivational cartoons features characters who are always full of big ideas and grand plans, but fail to take actions. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. We always welcome our caller from across the Narrows who keeps us thinking with her thought-provoking quotations that are always in context. And this one, no different. Our collection of motivational cartoons features characters who are always full of big ideas and grand plans, but fail to take any action. Very interesting quotation coming from across the waters, like I said. It's 4 past the 8 o'clock hour. You may have just joined me, and we are discussing for tonight's thesis, the caption, we got a square peg in a round hole. And my Straight Talk family, as I introduced in my introductory remarks, I made the point that we can't take a truck driver and place him or her in the cockpit of a plane. A truck driver can't fly a plane. That's craziness. You can't take a third standard student to run a country. And it seems as if we have elementary students running our country. We can't take liars. As my grandmother used to tell me, and I'm sure your grandmother would tell you as well, and I'm sure you must have heard, wherever you find a liar, you find a thief. But what we are seeing here, my Straight Dog family, is not merely poor judgment, as I said earlier. We've seen a failure of duty. We've seen a government that just don't fit. Just can't fit. A government that drives the car, the vehicle of state, by looking in the rearview mirror. How could that be? And we must not accept that anymore, my Straight Dog family. This country is ours, and we must take charge. We must dismiss the nonsense that we have heard or continue to hear from these our misleaders. This email reads, Warrior from the East, the bald-head Rasta damn lie. Patches, you remember Montserrat volcano when all them folks came and were taken in, no fingerprints, no blood test, nothing. The greasy rapists, yes, Patches, what Terrence July is about to release on us will make the greasy rapists from Montserrat look like a Sunday school outing. Patches, we give good advice, but we need to take our own advice as it is time to hit the streets and make that bald-head Rasta give the orange man back his money. We do not need the pedos, the robbers, the rapists whose countries do not want them back in our country. Patches, good night, and I say to you, it is our gun, our bullet, our foot. Our foot. You cannot now teach an elephant to tap dance. Labour and July and Lucifer must be chased out of office. Much respect, my brother. We go to the lines and say good night to this caller. It's 901, 909, 908. Beg your pardon. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night to Dr. Ian Patches live, but good night.
Mr. Politics, your humble servant. Good night.
Yes.
Just a servant to me. I'm fine with that.
First, I always want to thank God for life. And thank God for the federation of a lovely country, think it Nevis. We could have done better. But when we let deceitful and lying politicians, because the Bible talk about a lawyer. And when you find a lawyer, you find a what?
A thief, a robber.
Okay. Yes. I want you to play back my family, my good family, Moila Backs clip. Because Patches is my family, you know.
Yes, okay.
And yes, my family, my mother tell me that he and Geoffrey man, his father, I think either two brother children or sister children or something.
Okay.
Because my grandfather was a white man like Geoffrey man. Okay. And when Geoffrey man used to go to Fairview, and he come back down, he just stop by us down because we live right on Fairview over there.
Okay.
Sometimes he get cassava bread and he get kanki.
Okay.
From my mom.
Okay.
But I want to ask me all about it too because Mama, she and Geoffrey man, it was, yeah, some brother children and sister children, they do the thing. Okay. But Moila Backs, we are brave people. And we know in this country we could live, when we speak out whether the ills that are going on in this country or whatever. Patches, the honest party, two political parties, we got 3 political parties in this country now. In sync it, I must say. I am going to Nevis. And Dr. Simmons, when he get in 1980, he tell the people them whatever he will going to do when he campaign. When he going to do. And Dr. Simmons fulfill the promises to the people. We don't want to lie. We don't want to lie and mix up nothing. When I do want Dr. Timothy Harris, when he broke up from the Labour Party with the unity government, if he learned something from Dr. Simmons. Because Dr. Timothy Harris, when he campaigned with the unity, he said he's going to do everything to the people of this country. Pay them back the sugar money, pay them back this, pay them back that. Whatever project they say going to fulfill, they do it. We don't know what a lie. And this new Labour Party, as they say, the new Labour, but it's all we in this country is lie. Like can't done. Well, I want to know if Joe and Donald Trump are one, and Donald Trump are white man, Joe Black. I want to know, Patches. Because these people just spinning. I tell me good friend Colondri, we live in Sinkage. We are national here, we born here. And when we land, go sell out by who we elect here. Sell to the Chinese, them these are things they're supposed to come and talk. And forget about forget about Europe and this thing. Because we don't know what to do us. But these men who we elect continue to do the same thing, selling out our land to the white supreme and all kind of people in China and all kind of things. But as I say now, if a war was got to start right now, but it's not the freedom by me, you know. You see me shoot here, if a war war got to start right now, a third world war. But you know where it first? It's done in the Caribbean small country on it first. Because when these people will sell out our land to them, the Chinese, the white man, me not think against them. But when you come invest good. When they start, it's done, here we go point and turn against one another. When we can't find food, in our soil to eat, and the boat stop come to the shore to bring food. These are the things Colombia them supposed to talk. I said, I will come back and clip me short and come back.
Yes, my dear brother.
And continue to do what you got to do.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. And get some honey and lime, my dear brother. That works well for you. And it was Patrick Mallon who reminded us of this.
It raises a question, ladies and gentlemen. If they cannot speak the truth in small things, imagine what they will do in big things. My mother used to say, show me a liar and I'll show you a thief.
Yes, that's what his mother used to say. Show me a liar and it'll show you a thief. And my Straight Dog family, yes, by special request, we always give you what you want. And you requested the commentary or an excerpt, I should say, a piece of the commentary from Milo Box Freeman. Well spoken, Milo.
We are only accepting CARICOM deportees. So Trinidad can't accept their own deportees. Jamaica can't accept their own deportees. Barbados can't accept their own deportees. St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent cannot accept their own deportees. Why do we have to accept other country deportees? Where are we going to put them? Are we going to full back up? Listen, where are we going to put them when they come? Are we building houses for these deportees? Or are we going to once again? Because that was a big thing with me and I spoke out about it. And people say at the time I spoke out about it when Unity was in power, that I was making the government look kind of bad. I said I ain't making nobody look no kind of damn well bad. I got people up there in the community center. So if I have to make a government look bad to protect the community center, that village people need to go and have their little functions. But they couldn't do that because we were filled with Haitians. Can we, as citizens of this country, get a copy of that MOU with the US so that we could at least know what all we agreed upon and not be spoon-fed? That we should be the undeserving but grateful recipient of little information?
And yes, we ought to be entitled to see that report, my Straight Dog family. Why hide? This is not to be hiding. And I mentioned earlier that a country, it is not normal and it is not legal for any country under international law to refuse the return of their own citizens. And I made mention of the ICCPR, which is the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which is a multilateral treaty that commits nations to respect the civil and political rights of individuals. And these rights include right to life, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, electoral rights, and rights to due process and a fair trial. And this International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, is considered a key international human rights treaty and is part of the International Bill of Human Rights, alongside the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, which was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, in 1966 and entered into force in 1976, some 10 years later. And Article 12, subsection 4, states, and I quoted earlier, no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of the right to enter his own country. So, Miley, you're right. But I may add, though, while the legal rule is clear, in reality, enforcement may not be as easily done as said, because, as I said, we don't have a global police force. So compliance most times are left to diplomacy or the courts and political pressure. My Straight Talk family, decisions to accept refugees carry profound social, economic, and security implications, and therefore demand transparency, parliamentary oversight, and public accountability. But no government should be allowed by citizens to act unilaterally through secret memoranda or through a secret memorandum or through some undisclosed agreement, because this undermines trust and signals contempt, clear contempt for the citizens it is meant to serve. Contempt to us, who they should be serving. And we must not accept that standard or disrespect from our leaders. We must tell Terence Michael Joe, what time is it of the day or the night? Let's take some more emails here, my Straight Dog family. Patches. For months now, the students from Old Road to New Guinea are finding it rather difficult to go to school and returning back home because their school bus has broken down. The public transportation bus drivers are not willing to take the students. So this is a big problem. If this government did care about our nation and the future of our nation, they would have put in place temporary means of transportation so that the students who are the future leaders of our country can go to school and learn. It is clear to see that July and his worthless vagabond government don't give a damn about anything or anyone in this country. Instead of all these senseless traveling, the government should have bought school buses and many other things the country needs. This government is a total failure. We have elected a bunch of greedy, worthless vagabonds in Church Street. May God help us all read this email. What if the bus is down? It's obligatory that they find transportation for the students. That's so obvious. What's happening to the slow student? Jeffrey Hanley, what's wrong with you? Dear Patches reads this other email. I'm writing to express my concerns and fears about Prime Minister Terence Jew's announcement to accept deportees and refugees. Our island is already facing challenges, and adding more people to a 68 square mile space feels overwhelming. I want answers. Where will they live? Who'll track their movement? Who'll support them? Will they get jobs, citizenship, or voter cards to influence our election? It feels like a huge mistake to bring in people unfamiliar with our culture and ties. I am shocked the man of the year isn't speaking out? Where is Wilkin, the man of the year? He likes to run his mouth, but he is very silent. Why Drew is much against Haiti? I would like to suggest to Drew that he houses some of them or these people in the red big building in Monkey Hill, where he has his constituency office, some in his house in St. Peter's, and some in the gated community where he now lives like a king. I urge you to conduct a survey. Do we want this or not? Even Labour supporters are totally against his move, and he should have discussed this with the nation before agreeing to this direct move, and he will be shocked that no one is in favor. Dirty move, I think that should be. And he'll be shocked that no one is in favor. A concerned and fed up citizen reads this email. This other email reads, I do not believe Gaston Brown that the US will send 10 deportees to Antigua. That is a total lie. But Senke, smaller than Antigua, will be accepting 160. Send these people back to their native land. I doubt that any Kittian would be sent back to St. Kitts. I doubt that any Kittian is in the deported list. We will wait and see, because would they send a Kittian to either Antigua, Dominica, or St. Lucia? Laugh out loud. Poor little fools, sick and fed up. Beg your pardon, my dear. Patches, I hope the people of this country realize that all we are getting from these misfits in government are lies, and disrespect. These worthless vagabonds in government have been promising to do things going on 4 years now, and nothing has been accomplished. A total failure of a government and waste of votes. Our reporters and journalists are afraid to ask tough, sensible questions of July. They just let him chat crap in front of their faces. What is the purpose for these reporters at his so-called round table and press conference? Are they palace guards? Yes, I was just going to say that, emailer, till I saw you write that. They are what I call them, palace guards. It's 9:25, my Straight Talk family. You may have just joined me, and I am discussing our thesis for tonight. We got a square peg in a round hole. Our quotation for the night as well. Across the Narrows, our collection of motivational cartoons features characters who are always full of big ideas and grand plans, but fail to take any action. And as we discussed earlier in relation to our thesis for tonight, my Straight Talk family, from the onset, I made the point, I tried to make the point, I should say, that we have to be crazy. We have to be loony, as some people would say, to take a truck driver, or a bus driver for that matter, and plant him or her in the cockpit of a plane. We can't take any one of them, bus driver, truck driver, to fly a plane. It is not prudent as well. You can never expect a third form student to run a country. And every time one listens to Terence Michael July, He makes one feel as if a little boy is running the country. Or maybe we just found the perfect misfit for the job of Prime Minister. And my Straight Dog family, we go back to the lines at 9:27. Caller, thank you for holding. You're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. See what's wrong. Sorry about that. We seem to have lost that caller. Let's see if our connections are. Yes, our connections look good here. What's going on? Okay. But the lines are open, my Straight Dog family. We lost a caller just now on our overseas line. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Dog.
Abracadabra.
Mr. Straight Dog.
Abracadabra. Yes.
Abracadabra.
Yes.
How are you, my brother?
I am peaceful. What about yourself?
What can I say, man? So far, so good. All is well. You just got to do what you got to do and let God do the rest. You just do your best and let God do the rest. Mr. Straight Up, you are so right. Understand that you can't take a baby and put him to work before he learn to work. You can't. You could hold him, put them down. He can't move them because he don't know nothing about that. Until God give me strength to do that. Because look what happened to me. I get this job at a ship. Mr. Shotak, I don't know nothing about ship. I don't know nothing about ship. And the captain said, well, look, you're going to have to learn because this is what we're doing. So I have to learn how, and I take that wheel and I'm steering that ship. And he said, guy, you can't drive. I said, what do you mean? I'm holding the wheel. He said, guy, look what that ship do. That ship turn around and I'm steering it now. He said, no, you have to look at that compass. You see that little needle? That's the compass. That's tell us where we're going. I said, what? I thought you just want the ship go from here today. You could see the land. See what? So that's what our Prime Minister is doing, that he is a captain, but he don't have the right training. He have the right training, but he don't have the captain license. Something is not right. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, you're right.
Something is not right with our captain, I understand. He ship like he sink, but he not sink. He ship like he move, but he not move. Something is going on with our captain. Understand? And we have to recognize that our captain is not doing the job that he's supposed to be doing and do what we have to do. But Senkis not going to give up that captain because Senkis don't like no other captain take over. He doesn't matter what. Yes, Senkis like that. They don't. It's just like America. Look how good the economy around here, but you still don't like what's going on. Understand? We prefer the old one because the old one going. You see what I'm saying? Well, I see something with Senkis. That Senkis gonna stay like that because they don't believe in changes. Understand? So they believe in it for a while, but then they say, no, me not like what go on, me not like what go on. Me prefer my own people rule. So, Mr. Strater, how are you doing otherwise?
I am peaceful. God's been good to me, my brother.
Yes, man. Man, I'm looking forward to come down and we have some really wonderful time.
Yes, I look forward to that as well.
Yes, I look forward to that. So how is our lovely niece doing?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Good. Yeah. All right, well, just do what you got to do. Mr. Stratak, I think I still want you to go and find those Tabasco pepper seed, no? I know you're going to get a laugh because I listen to your program. Oh, Mr. Straight Up, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. They keep bringing in all this commercial, and every minute I have to run to the phone to stop this commercial. Something is going on with YouTube when you're on top there live, and it's not supposed to happen. So check to see why that is happening for me. Thank you so much, Mr. Straight Up. I think I said enough. Understand? So take care of yourself. Be good. See you when I see you. See you soon. Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, my brother. You know, I thought about you, my brother there in Philly, and I came across this. I think he asked me for this soundbite some night.
There's a man who came over to St. Kitts, and he think he could lever him out in St. Kitts as much as he want. But tell him, you know, the springtime crew ain't take that light, you know. The springtime crew ain't take that light, you know. The man come over St. Kitts and talk about his sheriff. But tell him, when the springtime crew done with him, neither he nor none of them gonna left standing, because it's one shot we got for the sheriff.
One shot for the sheriff. The sheriff is his man of business now. But my Straight Talk family, as we were saying earlier, before the call, that Terence Michael Drew has been found to be the perfect misfit for the job of Prime Minister. And even his classmate, Dr. Alexander, seemed to have come to that conclusion when he reacted to his town hall, or his round table, that should be, sometime last week.
Anyhow, you all know that fella that was on the television and radio today calling himself the Prime Minister? Y'all don't see he had no information for us? Y'all ain't see the bomb he dropped on this nation here? After two other Prime Ministers have done the same? Just drop it on us? No explanation? When has he ever had explanation? Christoph Harbour, all those things he's talking about, all those are half information. We still don't know about the school. We still don't know about the homes. More questions than answers. And our Prime Minister was on the radio today for the first time, radio and TV, for the first time for the year. And then go and talk to us about the budget, which he already spoke to us long-windedly. I like that. Me like that.
Who likes it? I like that, long-windedly. He spoke for, I think, almost 5 hours. But he continues, Dr. Drew, to drive the state-owned vehicle, the state car, we call it, in the rearview mirror. He's driving, but he's looking in the rearview mirror. So all he provides are lies, lamentations. It's all about 7 years. 7 years. He has no credible plan for the future, yet he expects us to believe that St. Kitts and Nevis is on the road to becoming the first sustainable island state. That's what he said, my Straight Talk family. But who could believe him? Every time Prime Minister Drew makes an appearance before the nation, he paints, or we get the image, the feeling of a big square peg in a small round hole. I say so because he always comes across as a leader who is fundamentally confused with the context in which he speaks, or mismatched with the role he occupies. And this implies not only incompatibility, but strain, because this round peg or this square peg will never fit without forcing the hole to deform. And even then, the result will be unstable. And in the context of his leadership over the past 3 going on to 4 years, soon 4 years, it points to someone or a figure whose size, whose ego, the methods employed, or vision overwhelm the system meant to contain them. And instead of adapting to institutional norms, constraints, or collective needs, our leader pressures the system or structure to bend around him. Terence Michael Drew. But he often creates so much damage in the process. The problem is not merely inefficiency, it is also distortion. What should function smoothly become stress and deform. At a deeper level, there is so much inflexibility because a square peg cannot come round and a square hole cannot easily become round. Effective leadership, my Straight Talk family, usually requires some give on both sides, some give and take. The leader adapting to circumstances and institutions evolving thoughtfully. When neither happens, the result is friction, wasted energy, and eventual failure. And this is exactly what we have to deal with. A leader who does not belong where he is, as his presence as Prime Minister is more destructive than being constructive. From the moment Terence Michael Drew assumed the role of Prime Minister, the administration he put together, which he referred to as a team of experts, all displayed a type of governance which was grounded in institutional ignorance, my Straight Talk family, or deliberate neglect. The principle of continuous government he ignored. And this principle exists to ensure stability, institutional memory, and policy coherence beyond electoral cycles, beyond the 5-year or 4-year cycles of elections or individual office holders. So when an administration ignores or fails to understand this concept, it effectively treats governance as episodic rather than cumulative. In other words, his administration saw itself as starting from a blank slate. So it discarded some past policies. It discarded data, institutional experience, and even shovel-ready projects. A diminished level of performance from such an administration was therefore expected. Not necessarily due to the lack of effort, but because of structural self-sabotage. The result was a cycle of reinvention that prioritizes political theater over administrative effectiveness. And I gave you 2 examples about the Basti High School and the solar farm. Someone asked earlier about the Tabasco pepper. Remember, he spoke about the pepper seeds. Tabasco was supposed to employ some 300 workers per acre, I think he said. It was to replace sugarcane. Going back to that crop, it failed us, my Shredog family. It failed us badly.
In Newton Ground, this is really a remarkable list. Since the days of sugar, we have not had a major crop to replace sugar in a way that it would provide hundreds of jobs and in a way that it would bring foreign direct exchange. So this is revolutionary.
Revolutionary. So revolutionary that the seeds have not germinated, it seems. We've heard nothing about them. But it's the Bastille High School. The Bastille High School that will be the Achilles heel, I'm sure. It will be. Jeffrey spoke about action. The slow student.
For the past 2 years, extensive work would have been going on involving our local architects and other engineers and experts, and it is even more heartwarming to know that the contractor is a Kittitian, and this of course will generate quite a lot of revenue and also boost the economy, as many persons will be employed here at the Bastille High School, which is expected to be an 18-month initiative.
But the former deputy magistrate of family exposed that, and the slow student did not say a word.
The last one that I want to come to, Madam Speaker, is the Bastille High School. I heard construction has started, and so I went up there to see the construction. Not even a hot seat up there for the workers to use. This is what I saw. But Madam Speaker, I've saved this one for last, because I have some questions to ask about that, Madam Speaker. If construction has started on the Bastille High School, who is the contractor which has been awarded this particular construction project? Who is the contractor? Member for number one was quite vocal a few minutes ago. Who is the contractor? Is it a company by the name of Pre-Conco, saying it's limited? Is it a company by the name of Pre-Conco Limited? The member for number 8 said nobody must speak about Bastille High School. And he said some 20-something million dollars had been spent. $21 million had been spent and nothing there to show for it. Has Pre-Conco been given $10 million US to date in respect of mobilization fees for Bastille High School? Has Pre-Conco been given $10 million US to date in respect of mobilization fees for the construction of Bastille High School? Member for number one, gone quiet. Has Pre-Conco been given a contract for $100,350,000 to build the Bastille High School? $271 million to build the Bastille High School? When you look at the budget at the Volume 2, Madam Speaker, Volume 2 in respect of Bastille High School says the estimated total cost is $35 million. $35 million. Has Pre-Conco been given a contract for $271 million to build Bastille High School? Why is the budget address saying $35 million if a contract has been given for $271 million to build the Bastille High School? Nobody must talk about Bastille High School. Well, I'm talking about it. And I dare anybody in here to tell me something differently. Tell me that $10 million US today, 27 million easy dollars, have not been given to Preconco in respect of the Bastia High School? Tell me if Preconco hasn't been given a contract for $100 million, $350,000 to build the Bastia High School, $271 million to build a school. $271 million. Member for number one, Grand Quiet Minister of Education.
Not a word. As a friend of mine always say, that things won't change until a politician gets a jail. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your life.
Good night.
Hello, caller. My dear brother. How is the Bible man? Good night, sir.
The Bible man is well and good.
You're good.
Hear this, Mr. Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor.
Yes.
In the time of trouble, it shall deliver him. Yes. That is, we are living in a world, and this Bible, what we read, give you a lot of lessons. They are kings, Mr. Patil. Paul, the Nebuchadnezzar, and goes on. One get themselves in trouble, and when the writing was on the wall, Daniel had to really tell them what the writing was. So now, come back to the basic. The Bible told you there are people who govern countries. And when the writing is on the wall for them, and here we say, name and I know, there are way in the balancing on one thing. Well, I know they're not stupid. I know they know what they're doing, because the people forget them. So they will do anything to gain favor. They will do anything to get where they want to go. So they want to do some stupidness. And so, me ain't right not all. Because, listen, Mr. Patil, God is watching them. And I hear the whole universe now. They could do as much as they want. But, you hear what I say? I put up and I take down. And I could bring, you hear what I say? Yes. You see me put up. And me and take and me could put down. And you say, what do you say? Thing goes Psalm 75. Patel. You know what it says with Psalm 75?
Unto thee.
Say, so Mr. Patel,
give thanks.
This Bible man here ain't fighting. All what happening, God let it happen. And when the time is right, everything can come into places. Good night, Mr. Patrick. Have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well, Mr. Bibleman. As we are on the downhill side of the program, I'll take a few more emails. Patrick, I want to thank you for the great job you are doing. You are doing the job of the leader of the opposition without pay. keeping this wicked government feet to the fire. Every week you bring us information with facts to back it. I hope the people of this country are listening and paying attention to what you are saying. We are getting more information. From you than the opposition parties. Keep up the good work by holding these greedy vagabonds' feet to the fire. May God bless you. My brother reads this email. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Pat is me again. The Pat is, me ain't had no honey. But I had some, I used some neem, garlic, and tamarind.
Okay.
I just drink, king it down and drink some.
You got the work.
So I don't know if I'm gonna improve.
Yes, I'm sure.
I don't know if continue talking, you're gonna hack up again, eh?
Yes.
But Patches, let me tell you something. I born in the 60s, in the late 60s. And I see political party grow under Bracha and Dr. Simmons in the 80s and Dr. Harris, the NRP, the CCM, you know, and the grow. But Patches, I would like to know for the next 2 years from now, if they're going to continue to allow this government with these deceitful lie and fooling them all the time, hospital, school, this and that. I want to know if they're going to allow them that to happen in the next 2 years. If they're going to make up their mind, whether you're Labour, whether you're PAM, whether you're NRP, whether you're CCM or whatsoever, if you are going to allow these things to happen, these load of lies, people, these load of lies, people, listen me now, let me tell you something, listen, after the unity, the break up in the package, I decided I'm going to back out the politics, you know. I gone done with this because we were the unity and they was doing well, and everybody said I was doing well. Even my good friend from overseas was calling me, telling me how the unity party is doing so good. And Patches, I call in on the people in the diaspora. They see who feeling it here. Is we live here feeling it. And this load of deceitfulness, I'm sure that they listen when the Prime Minister talk. Say you're going to do this, say you're going to do this, and they're going to happen, and that's going to happen. And up to now, nothing properly could deliver. Patches, up to now, nothing properly could deliver. You go to the hospital, put attention to you. You go there, right now you got a flow going on. And you go there, but you go there, in the, what do you call it again? The rotation, people up there flocking up all day, all night up there, wait. You understand? Mm-hmm. And the Prime Minister said how things should improve, this happened, ambulance, that, this tyranny, this never happened before any other government happening, all kind of nonsense. Mm-hmm. People in the diaspora, we know that you all come here, sometimes you all make the decision here. You all make the decision for government here. But we can't take no more of this. See why we young people got to offer from step, peace and all kind of thing. They said that they're going to revamp peace when they get in. Because Dr. House was giving you the money under the unity government. And the peace program now load right up. You see this young man going to the bank, young woman going to the bank, you never see them walking away. And these are the things we can't face. The country can't face. And that's why, Patches, that's why you see the things that too much of lies.
Yes.
Lie.
Yes, my brother. Okay.
Patches, I'm going to give somebody a chance. Good night to my good friend over in the my good friend Ruben. He was here for Carnival, he got back. He and his family. He and his wife, Ruben, good night. And all those who listen to me, Josie boy, good night. In New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, Patches, continue to do what you got to do. And people, you are calling and express your views. This is our country. We can't afford to love a country. Why want to be faithful people?
Okay, my brother.
Okay, then, Patches.
Thank you very much. We go right back to the lines and say, caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Healthy New Year greetings to you, Patches.
Always same to you, my brother. And
And
yours.
God guides all your family. Yeah, as you started out the year, with some very useful topics. And tonight is no different. It's a very juicy topic you have tonight.
Thank you.
And you mention continuous government, which I always talk about. And you elaborate and you make some good points pertaining the context. And you pointed out two examples. You talk about the solar farm project, which is something I always talk about, Mr. Patchen. And I'd like to hear you this new beginning of this year emphasize so much on that as well, because I always say if a government is continuous and there are projects there for a country to embark upon, why dismantle the project?
True.
That's the question I always ask myself. And in dismantling the projects, you implement rental generators. So you implement more costs for the country.
That's right.
Whereas, if you had really continue the project that's there, you will see how it would unfold to enable the development of the country and its people. That's how I look at it when it comes on the solar farm project. And when you hear the advisor, who I always say, if you put in name on a ballot in St. Kitts and Nevis, 80% of the population won't vote for him. But yet, he spoke his mind and the truth when he comes on that particular aspect of the development of his country, the solar farm project. And he said, and he played the tape tonight. Yep. And then the Bassi High School, I always say that project as well should have been implemented, because you see, the early stages of the Bassi High School, where it was before Warner Park get developed in its own way. The late Austin Eddy, remember, he demonstrated all over town and said, "Do not touch Warner Park," and I see the reason why he said that. And when you see all these high walls, this is now erected on this building, the air that used to come from east flow to the Bassi High School, it's not there no more. So a lot of that kind of freshness is out. So putting it in the area where it was, it would have been an ideal area. Even though sometimes I may ask myself, what about a tsunami? But if the persons who deal with the water say the aquifer is upstream, I don't see what would have been the difference if the Bassi High School built downstream. And to me, the outline sounds suitable for the children. I would like to see it there, because not only that, you take the impact. And when lunchtime, you see the load of children coming into the traffic. You take a traffic section out of the city. You put it somewhere else where more development would expand. That's how I look at it with that two areas. And the lady with the quotation, she always fit for quotation with the thesis. And that's very good of her. That's how I know our people is very positive. And Moiler Box input, Mr. Patches, he sounds now like the Moiler Box with the revolutionary mind that he always has. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong. Jagai, God bless. Stay healthy.
Thanks a lot, my straight dog brother. Thanks a lot. And yes, you made mention of the now manager and water engineer who was then the director of public works, but is a trained hydrogeologist, I think he is, Kwame Williams, who said this.
I advise the government that the siting of the new Bastia High School at the said location at Ponds Estate does not pose a threat or danger to our potable water supply, I did so without any reservation or doubt.
Without reservation or doubt. But as we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, I raised earlier, and that last caller also made mention of the principle of continuous government, which these self-proclaimed experts in cabinet ignored. But the principle of continuous government, I submit, exists to ensure stability, institutional memory, and policy coherence beyond electoral cycles, beyond the 5-year cycles or individual office holders. And when an administration ignores or fails to understand this concept, it effectively treats governance as an episodic rather than cumulative issue. The administration saw itself as starting from a blank slate and discarded some past policies, data, institutional experience, and even shovel-ready projects, my Straight Dog family. And when they can now come back after abandoning a solar farm project, comes back now and tells us he's going to build a $50 million solar farm, 50 megawatt, I should say, solar farm by the end of the year. What nonsense.
With respect to energy diversification, I want to say that we have done the complete analysis for a very large solar plant, which will be 50 megawatts. The RFP will be sent out very, very soon, and we expect to start construction of a 50 megawatt solar plant this year, partly at the Bastia Valley Aquifer. We used a company called Castalia, which has a good reputation, and a company that has been in this space for some time. And so all the analysis and evaluation has been done, and that is expected not only to give us cheaper energy, but to help to transition the economy, because renewable energy for us is much cheaper than fossil fuel, which we are subsidizing heavily to keep the cost of living down here.
And mark my word, my Straight Dog family, that will never happen. Policies were abandoned for symbolic reasons. Expertise was disregarded as a partisan residue. And long-term projects were stalled or reversed to signal rupture with its predecessors. They couldn't do anything about the new cruise pier. You hear them talk about 4 ships at the pier. 4 ship days, he calls. What if he didn't build the second cruise pier, which they objected to? But my Straight Dog family, the result of their actions was a cycle of reinvention that prioritizes political theater over administrative effectiveness. And I made mention of the 2 perfect examples, which were just mentioned, the Bastia High School and the solar farm. And now come telling us about a new solar farm. My Straight Dog family, it's a CBI project I'm going to leave you with. What about our CBI? After 40 years or more 4 decades and more in existence, it's still fraught with allegations of corruption, weak due diligence, and exposed to illicit financial flows that are dismissed or downplayed when they are politically inconvenient. And I hear now they want to use Bitcoin, so you can't trace it. But it is within this harsh global reality that the debate over citizenship by investment must be understood. Some continue to proclaim its longevity, insisting that it is alive and well. But my Straight Dog family, Terence Michael Drew mashed up the CBI and then tells us he prefers a bucket with holes than a bucket without a bottom. Would you imagine that?
We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
Imagine that, my Straight Dog family. A bucket without holes and a bucket without a bottom will produce the same result. Nothing will be retained. Both will fail to hold water. The conclusion is unavoidable, regardless of intent or appearance. Anything that cannot perform its basic function must be replaced. And we must replace this government. They are a failure. And above, on top of all of the above, the Terence Michael July administration now comes to tell us about acceptance of refugees. Caller, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Hello, caller?
Mr. Straight Up, what the Prime Minister is talking about? You can put thick liquid when you mix up flour to make bread, and you have the flour there. That's what he's talking about. Not water, because the water going to come out. So that's the wrong. Yes. So when you mix up all that, that's the thing you're talking about.
Okay, you got it dough in the bottom.
Thank you.
Okay, you're talking about mixing dough then. Okay. All right. Got you.
Yes.
Man want a bucket without holes. Better than a bucket without a bottom. All them will leak the water. But my Straight Dog family, his last pronouncement was this.
That St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, was approached by the United States of America as the other CARICOM countries, and we took a very proactive approach in sitting with the Americans to reach an arrangement that I think that arrangement is in keeping with our principles and, of course, having the collaboration with the United States of America as well. I know we are intelligent people. I know we have been looking very closely, and I know our people understand that the geopolitical environment at this time is not what we have been accustomed to. We know that there have been shifts, and so being proactive is very important, and I want to thank our people, of course, who have been involved in this. So St. Kitts and Nevis has negotiated and a memorandum of certain third country nationals. And I want us to listen carefully, who are citizens or nationals of the Caribbean community. This does not involve anybody outside of CARICOM.
How many? Terence Drew. Gaston Brown say he'll accept up to 10 maximum.
I would have shared brief information on my radio program last Saturday to indicate that Antigua and Barbuda will participate in a program with the United States, one in which they have invited over 100 nations to assist the United States in carrying some of the burden in refugees, because what has happened, the United States has been called upon over the decades to accommodate a disproportionate amount of refugees. We have said to them that we will take a limited amount, up to a maximum of 10, provided that they have no criminal background and on the basis that they have skills.
So Antigua will take up to 10. My Straight Dog family. How many have you agreed to, Terence Drew? And like Milo, We need to see that memorandum of understanding because we do not trust you. We do not trust you, Terence Joe.
We are only accepting CARICOM deportees. So Trinidad can't accept their own deportees. Jamaica can't accept their own deportees. Barbados can't accept their own deportees. St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent cannot accept their own deportees. Why do we have to accept other country deportees? Where are we going to put them? Are we going to full back up? Listen, where are we going to put them when they come? Are we building houses for these deportees? Or are we going to once again? Because that was a big thing with me and I spoke out about it. And people say at the time I spoke out about it when Unity was in power, that I was making the government look kind of bad. I said I ain't making nobody look no kind of damn well bad. I got people up there in the community center. So if I have to make a government look bad to protect the community center, that village people need to go and have their little functions. But they couldn't do that because we're filled with Haitians. Can we, as citizens of this country, get a copy of that MOU with the US so that we could at least know what all we agreed upon and not be spoon-fed? That we should be the undeserving but grateful recipient of little information?
Your proposal, the second your proposal on Straight Talk. And our final email, good night, Patches. Do you think our silence makes us complicit in what is happening in our hemisphere? We allowed the US to occupy our Caribbean Sea, and all we said is that this is a zone of peace. Do you think if we had condemned their presence and asked them to leave, what happened to Venezuela would have happened? Even if we were taught to believe we are powerless, it's not better to at least document our disagreement for future generations, or so we can at least have later recourse. What if the US is later made to pay reparations? We miss out? We should make the coercion public. Instead, we say they are our friends when they themselves know better. Also, what else is in agreement to take foreigners? What is the true horror? Should we not know all the terms and conditions from now? The US are dangerous people to go to bed with. I think the government needs to start having polls before making certain decisions. We have smartphones and internet. How hard is it to send out an app, alert, or survey? A lot of big impact. Foolish decisions are being made for us. And these leaders have enough not to pay the same consequences we will. Well, my Straight Talk family, we all are entitled to our views. But I can tell you, zone of peace, or friends of all and satellites of none, is an outdated position. Because our Western Hemisphere must be protected, and the Caribbean countries cannot protect it themselves. And I tell you, we're now looking at Greenland. And I play this very early in the program. I'll play it as I depart tonight.
First of all, Secretary Rubio, I believe, is meeting with the leaders of Denmark and Greenland next week, I want to say it is, but maybe it's the week after that. We'll continue to deliver some of these messages in private, some of them in public, but I guess my advice to European leaders and anybody else would be to take the President of the United States seriously. What has he said about Greenland? Set to the side the crazy overreactions that I've seen from the press and from certain people in Europe. What has the President said? Number one, Greenland is really important, not just to America's missile defense, but to the world's missile defense. Number two, we know that there are hostile adversaries that have shown a lot of interest in that particular territory, that particular slice of the world. So what we're asking our European friends to do is to take the security of that landmass more seriously, because if they're not, the United States is going to have to do something about it.
And that's a fact. But a government, as I wind down tonight's programming, that treats the people as an afterthought forfeits its moral authority to lead. This Jew administration has shown time and time again that it is ill-suited to the responsibilities it holds, misaligned with the nation's needs, deaf to legitimate questions, and careless with the social fabric it is meant to protect. Change, therefore, is not an act of hostility, but one of necessity. Democracies endure only when citizens insist on accountability, competence, and respect for process. At the next election, therefore, the choice must be clear. Remove what does not fit and choose leadership that is shaped by the will of the people and not imposed upon it. The country deserves leaders who belong in the office they occupy, leaders who fit the whole because they were formed by it, not forced into it. Something must be done, my people, because we got a square peg in a round hole. And that's my soul tonight, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I want to thank you, the many viewers, those who sent emails, those who called, and those who just listen, my dear. And our quotation for tonight, I'll leave you with it as well. Our collection of motivational cartoons features characters who are always full of big ideas and grand plans, but fail to take any action. And that's my story tonight, as I said, until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, my Straight Talk family, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. A rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life. That's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve. You better believe, because I do the things I should. Be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray. With my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep and my guide over every step I take. He will preside. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve. You better believe, because I do the things I should. Be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord.